welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Angie and I'm a chemist who loves makeup. And I like to research the ingredients in makeup products and report back my findings to you. So today I'm sharing my favorite foundation. I wanted to start sharing some of my favorite products with you guys and what I love about them and what's in them that makes me love them. So my favorite foundation for the past year is from Lancome, and I'm gonna butcher it, but I think it's the Teint Idole Ultra Liquid 24-Hour Longwear SPF 15 foundation. So that was a mouthful. So if you're interested in learning about the ingredients in this product and what I love about it, please keep on watching. So this is available at both Ulta and Sephora, and I believe like Macy's, that kind of thing. But for basics, Sephora and Ulta for $47 for 1 fluid ounce, which is a typical size of foundation. And it is a high-end foundation and it's kind of pricey, but I always use a coupon to stock up. Like anytime there's a Sephora sale or an Ulta sale where you get like 20% off to 15% off, I will always use a coupon to buy these. And it comes in 45 shades. So I am somewhere between a 250 to a 270 depending on the time of year. I usually use like 3 pumps of this foundation. Sometimes it's like 1 of 250, sometimes it's 2 of 270, sometimes it's all 250. One of the reasons why I love this is because it's a satin finish. It is not matte, it is not dewy, it is the perfect satin finish to where I look like I have a little bit of a glow to me, but it also has the ability to last longer and I don't look greasy. They describe it as a velvety matte, and I think that's probably a pretty good description. It's not a super thick foundation, but it does give you good coverage and you can build it up. It doesn't look cakey when I use a little bit more foundation. I don't use a brush with this foundation. I actually can't remember if I have. I typically just use a sponge. I happen to use the L'Oreal sponge. I'll link it down below if you want to look to see what sponge I use. But I use that, and I do love this foundation because it does mesh so well into the skin. It sinks into the skin. It doesn't like sit on top of it or like have like weird patches where it breaks up. It applies, and it also does last throughout the day. I went to a wedding a couple weeks ago where I wore this, and I maybe put it on at like noon in the car on the way to the venue, and I had it on until like at least midnight. So it lasted quite a bit of time. It didn't show significantly that my foundation was wearing off. It kind of gradually fades away, which I really appreciate. And it also works with a variety of concealers. It works really well with like Tarte Shape Tape, which is very full coverage, but I can also use the thinner coverage like the Makeup Forever concealer, and I can still set the foundation with powder and not have it look super dry or powdery, but just gives me a little bit more reassurance to make it last longer. So now let's get into the ingredients. So the sunscreen ingredient that gives it this SPF of 15 is octinoxate, and this is what people would call a chemical sunscreen, and this protects primarily against UVB rays, not really UVA rays. So if you, again, this is only a SPF of 15, so if you are really going to be out in the sun, I would recommend layering up with a sunscreen underneath this foundation. If you're not gonna be out in the sun that much, this is good just to give you a little bit of SPF coverage. One thing to note is online, the ingredient is listed as ethylhexyl methoxycinnamate in a standard ingredients list, but on the packaging it's listed as OTC drugs. For instance, the octinoxate is within the drug facts and gives you the exact percentage. So this is also interesting though, because we know that this is in a concentration of 3% in this foundation based on the back of the packaging and the drug facts, but on the standard ingredients list, we know that anything listed underneath that is 3%. So that's actually a nice little extra clue to determine how much of these ingredients are in this product. So the first ingredient is water, and the second ingredient is cyclohexysiloxane. So this is a volatile silicone. So this means it's gonna help the spreadability and feel of this foundation, but it's also gonna evaporate quickly. Now, commonly in foundations, you'll see cyclopentasiloxane, but in this case, this is cyclohexysiloxane, so it's 1 extra carbon group. So they're very similar, but the cyclohexysiloxane doesn't evaporate as easily. So I think this helps make the foundation also not super matte because it doesn't evaporate as quickly or as readily, but it does dry down enough to stay in place. So the next ingredient is denatured alcohol, which is ethanol. Ethanol is a type of alcohol that you find in your cocktail that you drink. And this is a controversial ingredient because people believe that it causes skin damage over time from drying your skin out. But in short, I don't really mind alcohol being in my products. I do want to make a video specifically about alcohol in cosmetics. But for the time being, this basically is put into the product because it helps it dry fast. And this is a really common ingredient in a lot of sunscreens. So for me, I'm okay with it being in my foundation because I feel like in this formula, it is balanced out with a lot of hydrating ingredients and the fact that alcohol does evaporate quickly, so I'm not really concerned about long-term effects by using it in this foundation. So one of those hydrating ingredients that's balanced out with is butylene glycol. And this is a humectant. So humectants are really good at holding on to water, and this is what's gonna help keep your skin hydrated by drawing moisture into that upper layer of your skin. Usually you'll see glycerin commonly in a lot of products, but glycerin is very, very thick. Butylene glycol is a lot thinner. It's closer to the density of water. So it is a lot more ideal for something like a foundation, which you're going to be wearing on your face all day. So I'm gonna leave the next ingredient right here because it's very, very long. But when you see acrylates and copolymer, that usually means it's a film former. And we see this a lot in things like waterproof eyeliner or things that claim, or foundations that claim to be long wearing. And for instance, this is claiming to be up to 24-hour wear. I have not confirmed the 24-hour wear myself, but this ingredient helps kind of support that statement, if you will. I would not wear a foundation for 24 hours, but that's just me. And this ingredient basically forms a very thin, flexible film. So it's not greasy, it just dries down, and it's also good at helping repel water, and that's how it helps your foundation last longer. So the next ingredient is nylon 12, and this is one of those ingredients that I found that if it's in my product, I do happen to really enjoy that product. So this is put into products because it helps improve the texture, and it is flexible, so it's very good at not sinking into fine lines, so you don't emphasize these fine lines when you wear your foundation. And I make a lot of facial expressions, so I need all the help I can get. Based on just a lot of like formulator forums, a lot of people seem to swear by this ingredient, so I find it's more justified in terms of like seeing what formulators say, that this is a very essential ingredient to a lot of their formulas. So I hope you learned something today. I'll leave links below down to all the products I mentioned, as well as my resources as always. And if you learned something today, don't forget to click the like button so that way I know to make more videos about some of my favorite products. Leave a comment below on what your favorite foundation is, and don't forget to click the subscribe button so that way you will not miss when I upload next time. And with that, I will see you in my next video. Bye!